Hi everybody, Bearded Rogue here again. Yet another day of Vlogust and yet another video. Today we're going to do a 3 Things I Love video, and this one is going to be about Android Netrunner. It's going to be really hard to keep myself to just 3 things about Android Netrunner. If you watched my top 3 video from earlier this month, you'll know that this is one of my top 3 games of all time. So I could probably ramble on and on and on about things that I like, but I'm going to limit myself to 3 for this video. And for me, they're the 3 things that are the most important to me, and the biggest reasons why I love this game. So, the first reason that I absolutely love this game, it's asymmetric. Completely asymmetric. For anybody who's been living under a rock, Netrunner has 2 different factions, or 2 different sides. They have multiple factions, but 2 different sides. They have the runner, who's trying to break in and steal information, whether it's just because they're angry, or because they're trying to make money, or because they're curious, and the corporation, who's trying to defend that information and keep the runner from touching it. Not all of the corporations are as nefarious as others, but all of them are trying to keep their secrets hidden, and all of the runners are trying to get at those secrets. And they play completely differently. The corporation sets up ice to try to block the runner from getting to their stuff. The runner plays icebreakers in order to try to get to that stuff. It plays a little bit like a tower defense game or a siege game, depending on which side you're in. And since you play both over the course of a match, you get to sit on both sides. Asymmetric games are one of my favorite things. I love when all of the players are not taking the same actions, or when there's not one clear strategy that everybody at the table should be following, or anything like that. Like, I really love it when the players have unique abilities, they have unique ways of doing things, and the mechanics they use in the game are unique. And Netrunner fits that to a T. It's not the first asymmetric game I've played, but it's definitely the one that uses it best out of what I've played up to this point. It's they don't play the same at all. Like, and the factions, Fantasy Flight added factions to the game. The original just had Runner and Corp. However, factions slice that up even more. My favorite 2 factions I'm holding here, NBN and Anarch, specifically Making News and Noise. Those are my go-to decks. I love both of them very, very much. I've been playing them both since the core set dropped at Gen Con a couple years ago. So these are my guys right here. This is what I play. I don't play as much as I want to anymore, but the fact that it's 2 years in and I'm still playing IDs from the core set lets you know just how diverse the field really is. There's so many other options, and the ones from the core set haven't been outpaced as far as power level goes. So that's the first thing I love about Netrunner, is the asymmetric nature of it. Second thing I love about Netrunner is something that was also introduced in the Fantasy Flight system, and that's influence. So, influence, if you look at one of the IDs, let's use NBN here. If you look at one of the IDs, you'll see a little number here, and this one says 45/15. So, 45 tells you how many cards you can have, 15 tells you how much influence you could have. Now, influence isn't cards. Influence is a mechanic for balancing out of faction cards. So, like, Toll Booth here. Best ice in the game. I don't care what other ice you've seen, this is the best ice in the game. Toll Booth has 2 influence. These 2 little dots down here are influence dots. So, in NBN, because Toll Booth is an NBN ice, NBN can play it for free. It just costs them a card slot, one of their 45. However, if anybody else tries to play this, it costs them 2 of their influence, and most IDs only have about 15 influence. So how you spend your influence is one of the key decisions in deck building in the game. It lets you splash for things that your faction normally doesn't do, or doesn't do well, or lets you splash for things that enhance your core strategy. In Noise, in particular, Noise, my man, loves viruses. There's a criminal virus called Cache that is a very good cache generator, pardon the pun, for Noise. It generates lots of credits for Noise. But it's out of faction, so he has to pay influence in order to bring it in. Clone Chip is something that's in pretty much every Anarch deck ever, because Anarchs throw away cards like they're going out of style, and Clone Chip lets you recover things from the discard pile. However, it's a Shaper card, so you have to spend influence in order to run it in your deck. Influence is such a brilliant way to balance out-of-faction cards. It's so much better than just tacking an extra cost on in-play or some other odd deck-building requirement. Influence gives you a much more wide-open field as far as deck-building goes, and allows this version to retain the feel of the original, where you could just play anything, but in a much more controlled and less crazy environment. So the influence mechanic, Fantasy Flight was brilliant in adding factions, and they were even more brilliant in adding influence. Influence makes this game better than a lot of other card games out there where you're stuck playing one particular style because of the faction you chose. And the third reason, and again, as I said, I could probably go into an absolute ton of reasons, but the third reason I love this game is action economy. Netrunner is based on clicks. Clicks are the number of action points you have, effectively. They're the number of actions that you can take. And the runner and the corporation both have actions that they can take just by default. Things that cost them a click. Drawing a card, installing a card or playing a card, getting a credit. Things that you can just do on your turn. Making a run, probably the most important action in the game. All of them cost an action. So it's not a game of throw all your resources on the table as fast as you can, but it's also not a game of wow, I can play one card this turn, so I guess I better wait, or I have to wait for my mana to ramp up before I can start playing my really good cards. It's not like that at all. It's all about balancing your action economy. Your clicks have a very big impact on how your game is going, and your management of them is more important than your management of probably any other resource, whether it's cards in hand or credits in your credit pool. Management of your clicks is vital to success, and there's so many interesting things you can do with them. Whether it's, the basic actions of the game, or as a corporation purging virus counters. I can give up my whole turn to purge virus counters, which may be something that's absolutely necessary, or maybe it's something that won't even bail me out of the situation I'm in. Trashing the runner's resources, the runner's case, getting rid of tags. Everything in the game is balanced around an action economy. And just the fact that the runner gets one more action than the corp does, effectively. The corporation gets 4 actions, but one of them is a forced card draw, and the game ends if their deck runs out. The runners just get 4 actions, and if their deck runs out, oh well, who cares? They just keep going unless their hand runs out, and then they die. So just the action economy is something that really changes fundamentally the way the game is played. The only other game I've seen with an action economy recently that really changes a game like this is Ashes, with the main actions and side actions, which feels almost like a role-playing game to me. But I digress. We're talking about Netrunner here, and Netrunner, the action economy is amazing. It really makes it stand out from other games. So those are the 3 things that I love about Netrunner: the asymmetrical nature, the influence system, and the action economy. And again, I said that I would try to keep it to 3, but I'm going to slip one more in there, and that's the diversity. The runners in this game, the people in this game, all of the characters that are represented come from multiple ethnicities, genders, sexualities. Some of them aren't even human, they're robots. Some of them are clones. Cyborgs exist. Uplifted consciousness. It's a true transhuman future where everything that we can think of today exists, plus adding in the differences that future technology will add and enhance. So that's my fourth one. I'm cheating here a little bit, but I figure for my top 3 games I can cheat and slide an extra one in. But yes, Android Netrunner. This game is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. You should play it if you haven't. If you have played it, then good on you. If you have played it and you didn't like it, I have no idea who you are or where you're from. This game is going to be in my collection forever. Even if I stop collecting data packs, I'm never going to get rid of it, because this is a game I want to be able to play until I'm no longer able to play games. So that's it. 3 things I love about Android Netrunner. Thanks for watching. Bye.